Hey, it's Christy. Thanks for joining me for another video. I want to talk to you about expectations and how we can tend to let ourselves down all the time. We can be let down by experiences, our friends, our family, and I don't know about you, but I let myself down all the time. And it's a conversation I really need a change in my mind. And so I thought I would share this with you. Do you ever have those words cross your mouth? Life was supposed to happen this way. Like it wasn't supposed to be like this. My life was supposed to be so different. Well, let's analyze that for a second, shall we? So how should life be? What kind of grandiose ideas did you have about how your life was going to turn out? And why hasn't it, right? So I remember looking back at my high school yearbook, right? And there's this spot in there where you would fill out in 20 years or 25 years, I will, and it has this whole page of stuff that I was gonna have filled out. And if you have that in your yearbook, I invite you to go back. I don't care if it was 5 years ago, 20 years ago, or 50 years ago. Open that baby up and see what you thought your life was going to look like years later. So I was going through this, you guys, and I was going to have 2.3 kids and a dog, and I was going to drive some fancy BMW during the day, and I was going to have this Jeep Wrangler that I would drive around on the weekends. You know, I would have all this stuff, right? I would have this career, I'd have all this education, I'd have all this savings and this incredible travel, right? None of that was present in my life when I started looking at this, and I thought, man, my life was supposed to turn out this way. Look, I had all of these plans laid out. So what happened? Life happened. Life happens. And so I don't know about you, but I got bumped off of that road to wherever I thought I was going nearly every other day. So life is what we want it to be. We can create it to look a certain way, but we've got some challenges that are constantly facing us head on, right? There's illnesses and there's deaths and there's job loss, and sometimes things don't get accomplished in the time period that we thought because we were unrealistic with what our goals were. I thought for sure I could have all of this college knocked out in my first 4 years. Guys, 4 years after high school graduation, I was still working on my first 2-year degree, on my associate's degree. Life happens. I had to go get a job, and the next thing you know, it was just kind of consuming my days. So when I did go back to school, I went back at a pace that I could manage working full time. It took me longer to accomplish my goals, but I got there with my education. And then I started looking at, well, you know, I'm supposed to be married. I'm supposed to. I want you to make sure that you're making those, this is how my life is supposed to be, statements based off of what you want and not what others say for you. So if kids is part of your future because you say it's part of your future, is it because you want kids, or that's just what you're supposed to do? As you start getting older, you might uncover that some things that you thought you were going to have, you're just fine without. And some things you're going to have and you're going to say, I need this out of my life. So get into action to get it out of your life. But what did your life look like? What was it supposed to look like? And if it's not where you want it to be, let's create a couple of ideas to help you get there. So if you are not where you want to be on your career, let's figure out what it takes to make that happen. Not everybody needs to have a bachelor's degree. Education is not the course for a lot of career tracks. I know as a mortgage loan officer, I don't have to have a bachelor's degree. I don't have to have any kind of further education, although I do because it was my personal choice to have that. It wasn't required for my career in order to get hired in. So high school diploma, yes, very important, but there's a lot of vocational type of training, like specialty. You can get a certificate in something that could help you really grow in your career. And if we're talking about work, if you're in sales, spend the time that you need to really emphasize and grow your sales skills, okay? There are courses and workshops and books that you can read. I listen to probably an audiobook about every week to 2 weeks. I'll knock out an audiobook, and then there's something to be said about a paper book in my hand when I'm able to read. So invest in yourself. Okay, I've heard the term intellectual collateral, and I think it's really important to invest in yourself and grow yourself. And if it's education that is standing in your way, figure out how to get into action. You're gonna have to give something up, right? You're gonna have to maybe work less hours. You might have to move to be physically at a location for a school. There's so many online options. Maybe you don't have to make much choices other than where you're gonna carve out a couple of extra hours from your week so you can put that towards your education time. If it's career, what do you need to do to fine tune the skills that will help you get promoted, help you earn more money? Is it your personal life? If you thought for sure you'd be married and be a mom or a dad by now, what's standing in your way? I know it's not the easiest thing to find your life partner, somebody that you can see yourself growing old with and just really falling in love with. But are you putting yourself out there, or are you sheltering yourself because you've had hurts in the past that you haven't quite remedied? So if you're standing in your own way of a relationship, seek out the help that you need. Crying to your girlfriends isn't always the best path to remedy a hurt heart. Sometimes it requires some additional counseling, and don't be afraid of that. Invest in you and get yourself there. All right, what else might have you? My life was supposed to be, were you diagnosed with something? Were you laid off from someplace? Was your heart broken by somebody? You guys, we can't always control what happens in our lives, but we can certainly control how we react to it and what we do moving forward. So did it cripple you and have you just stuck where you're at? Or are you going to use that thing that bumped you off the track, that hurt your heart, that set you back? Are you going to use that to propel you forward? Okay, so it's the lessons that we learn from the experiences that we have that's the game changer. And I see so many people just stuck in it, right? They're stuck in their story, they're stuck in what happened to them. And it happened to me. I went into business with somebody that turned out to not be a really amazing business partner. And that relationship ended ugly. I mean, lies about me, accusations, just nasty stuff thrown in my face. And it went on for years after that business had stopped. And it hurt me bad. I started believing those nasty things that he was saying at me and about me, and it just simply wasn't the truth. It was somebody who had a bruised ego and was mad about something, and he didn't know how to handle his own reactions and that situation, and so he just spewed it at me, and I let it seep in. I believed the lies that were getting thrown at me, and it had me stuck for years. And I ran away. I picked up from that town and I moved to another one and tried to start all over. But the funny thing is wherever you go, there you are. And although I was hurt by his actions and his words and that business ending the way that it did, I had to learn a lot about myself and experienced a ton of growth because I stopped and said, okay, what do I need to get out of this? What do I need to learn about this? Who am I in this situation? How was I showing up? And self-awareness is key, my friends. If we don't look at ourselves, inside of ourselves, and be willing to see our faults and where we might fall short, and then say, okay, that's not what I want for my life. Moving forward, I want to show up like this. I want to come from a space of this. I want to bring this to the table. I think if you come from that place, you're going to be able to create the life that you truly want to live into, that you're going to enjoy, that when you wake up in the morning, you're actually really excited to face the day. And there were times in my life that when that alarm clock went off, I literally started crying. I had a job I hated so much, and even just thinking about it now is starting to choke me up a little bit. that alarm clock went off. I hated my space in my life at that moment. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. And it seeped into everything. If you have a job that disgusts you, is below you, that isn't bringing you joy and fulfillment, even if you're making a lot of money, if it's not bringing you joy, you need to pivot in your life. So start creating some opportunities where you can see yourself living into a career, a job, a space that will really bring you a lot of joy. So it turns out though, moving and knowing nobody, I moved with a girlfriend and I knew nobody in this town. No, I take that back. I knew one person who was very invested and well connected in her space and very, very, very busy. Love her. And I needed to start fresh. And sometimes starting fresh is a really great place to begin. But I needed to recreate what I wanted in my life from that place of, I need a new career. I need to heal from this pain. And who do I want to be? I have the ability to be whoever I want to be. So who am I? Who is Christy? Don't try to be anybody else. They're already taken. So how do I want to show up in this world? Who do I want to be every single day? You need to feel confident in the skill sets that you have and your abilities that you have. And if you don't find yourself quite there, invest in yourself. Surround yourself with the people that will help you get there. Pour into yourself, whatever that looks like. About 5 years ago, I made a promise to myself that every single year I was going to do something that grew me, however that looks. Does it grow me intellectually? Does it grow me personally? And every single year I have budgeted and saved for that thing. And it's something different every single year. And a couple years ago, I was able to go to Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within. Life-changing, you guys. Something along those lines. If you feel that you'll have growth from something like that, do it. Last year, I challenged myself to hit this certain place in my career where I could go and get this really intensive coaching that could help me elevate to the very next level. And I paid a lot of money and flew across the country and stayed and just absorbed all I could over a couple of days. So every single year, I invest in myself. How are you investing in yourself to help you get to where you want to be, to create the type of life that you truly desire for yourself? If you want that, I want that for you. So if you are in that space of, my life was not supposed to turn out this way, what needs to change? And get into action on this. I know you can, and maybe you just needed to hear this message today to help push you into that space of getting into action of whatever it is that needs to change. Because we have one shot at this. We have one shot in this body, in this life, in this moment in time. Who do you want to be? How do you want to show up? And what kind of legacy do you want to leave? What kind of footprint do you want to have? How do you want people to remember you? How do you want people to think of you right now? And then just create that space around it. It doesn't have to line up with what you thought you were going to have in your life when you were 18 years old and graduating from high school and starting that next chapter. Because you guys, I don't know about you, I'm a very, very different person than who I was at 18 and who I thought I was going to be, 20 something years later. So I encourage you to reset your expectations. And just because you thought it was going to be like this doesn't mean like it can't turn out amazing. So maybe write a new, this is how my life is going to turn out in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years, and get in action to start making those wheels turn to get you there. I believe in you. Now I just need you to believe in you. We're not promised any set amount of time. We have no idea how long we have here, but we should be living every single day to our absolute very fullest. So start thinking about what that looks like for you. Maybe you need to rewrite your story and then start getting into action to see what it takes to get you there. Don't take your dreams to your grave with you. Start getting into action. Share it with your friends. Share it with the people who would be great accountability partners for you and might even help you get into action with whatever kind of steps you need. We all need mentors, right? We all need mentors. So hopefully I can be one for you. Anyway, thanks for joining me for this video. Until next time, my friends, stay well.